Hey, what's up? Live here, waiting for everything to load up. Jamming on Coffee for Life, which is my almost daily jam on all things marketing, sales, business growth, psychology. It's really a deep dive into like behavior and cognition and then using it to make money, hopefully in an ethical way, preferably in an ethical way. So I drink my coffee and I go live, and typically it's only book buyers. So if you bought my book, you get access to this every day. Sometimes I stream it in multiple places. Today I'm kind of in multiple places. No particular reason. I just kind of do what I feel like doing. Nabil, what's up, man? So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm not much of a storyteller, but this one's funny, and I have a very strange sense of humor, so bear with me. But it highlights kind of an expert's curse, but also the expert's gift. Because a lot of times we say marketers or experts can't market and sell, and that's because they're doing it wrong for their disposition. So one time, I have a reputation in fitness, right, as being innovative. I was surrounded by some of the smartest people on the planet. My best friend's a PhD in metabolic chemistry. We used to live together. We used to carpool together. We used to share an office together. And so access to really good information. And somebody who's just kind of been around in the audience, kind of a tire kicker, the kind of we call like an asshole, reached out and said, "Hey man, should I take more drugs? I don't really have the money for it, but I'm really desperate to like get in better shape." And I said, "No, dude, just drink grapefruit juice." And he thought I was joking, right? But grapefruit juice actually has an enzyme that inhibits breaking down a lot of drugs, a lot of supplements. So it can actually it can extend the half-life, which is like taking more drugs. And so I was kind of like half joking, but also kind of like leave me alone, and also kind of like I know what answer you're looking for, and I'm not going to give it to you, right? I'm not going to tell somebody to do more drugs. So I said, "Do just grapefruit juice." He's like, "Are you joking?" I said, "No, there's an enzyme. Fucking Google it. Like, just drink grapefruit juice with your drugs. You'll be fine." So again, it was kind of joking, but there's a lot of truth in it. And also, I just wanted them to go away. I wanted to give him something to do to keep him busy to go away. And then he came back about a week or two later. He said, "Holy crap, I can feel the difference. I never thought of this. It's not out there anywhere. That's not what I would have done. But holy crap, it works. What else?" I said, "Well, you could drink your own urine. You just drink your piss." And again, he waited for me to joke or to smile or crack a change inflection in my voice, which I never do. And he's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, great way to recycle drugs. You just drink your piss." And then about 20 minutes after that, I got a phone call from my good friend, who's a PhD in chemistry, laughing. And he said, "Did you just tell Brady to drink his own piss?" I said, "Yeah." Like, why do you know that? Because obviously I was joking. That's a ridiculous suggestion, right? And he said, because he was about to do it. He was about to drink his own piss, and he called me to verify that it will actually work. And I realized that you can influence people to do anything, even if it's way outside of their comfort zone and it sounds ridiculous, if you follow the appropriate steps. So that's how we built most of the Customers for Life framework, actually, was these micro steps. And in this case, if you are an expert or an innovator, a lot of times they say niche down, speak to the pain, blah, 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 blah. And you get lost in the noise. You're saying the same thing as everyone else. The trick is know what their pain is and give them something that they've maybe never heard of before that is just a tiny, tiny bit outside of their comfortability, but it's also low risk. Okay, now drinking your urine is high risk, but drinking grapefruit juice is not. So if you can identify the things, they're like, "Hey, just try this. You have nothing to lose. It's not expensive, but it will solve some of your pain." and it lives a little bit outside of their understanding, that is where the power is, because you get them to do something that they're a little uncomfortable with, but there's not really a downside, and you do have some authority, and then they do it and they get results. And it opens up this whole world of things they never even knew they didn't know, and you hold the keys, right? Let me know if this makes sense. So it's not about speaking to their pain. It's not about overwhelming them. It's about identifying these things that have an asymmetric risk, a favorable asymmetry in the risk, meaning you say, hey, just try this. If you say, hey, just try my program and it's $10,000, there's no asymmetry in risk. Worst case, they lose $10,000. That's a big fucking deal. However, if we can identify the things that are low risk, that are just outside of their realm of belief, but they're in pain, so they're going to try anyway because there's no risk, and it works, you have just kicked the door wide open, like right off the hinges. I have a goodie bag of things that will work that you've never heard of. Now, what we want to do is we want to use that in an ethical way. We want to sell them good stuff. I actually stopped joking with people that don't know me because I realize I do that. I help people, and the things that I talk about are generally a little bit outside of their realm of understanding or comfortability. And then I joke with them, and they can't tell that I'm like way outside of that realm. Like, and so I'll say things that to me are outrageously outlandish, but people kind of wonder, like, well, the last thing he said was crazy and it actually worked. So we got to be careful there. But that doesn't make it any less powerful in the marketing, sales, fulfillment process to say, this is where high ticket people get it wrong all the time, is you're pushing people, and you can make sales and you can be profitable, but you're losing out on a large majority of the market that has a little bit more risk aversion. You just give them something that they don't quite understand, but there's a low risk and a reward. It's asymmetry. And if you train people that, hey, you don't understand what I'm saying, but if you provide evidence, proof that every time you do something that you don't understand because I told you to do it, the benefit outweighs the risk. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again. That's called an ascension ladder. It's been around since the beginning of time. So that's my my coffee for life spiel and my story about how you can, I mean, if you can convince pretty much strangers to drink their own piss. This is coffee, by the way. We can take that lesson and we can use it. Okay. So hopefully that's you can drop your takeaways. I'm just here to jam, drink my coffee. But that makes perfect sense. Awesome. Good. I'm glad. That's what you look for. Stop this like speaking to the pain and yada yada yada. I mean, you can do that. You have to understand the pain. But what's going to make you different is if you give them something. Everybody's asking everybody else to take the risk. That's the beautiful thing about if you're actually good at what you do. You don't have to ask. Like, high ticket people are all about, well, not all of them, but a lot of the high ticket people are all about like, bro, you got to take a risk. Let me show you how to open a credit card. And like asking people to take asymmetric risk that has more downside than upside is ridiculous. It's irresponsible. And it's not fair, even if you know the upside is greater than the downside, it's not fair for you to expect other people to know that. If they've never experienced what you have, like maybe you pay for traffic and you get a 10x ROI and you have a system. If they haven't experienced it, it's not fair to expect them to have the same level of belief you do. So we just have to find things. These are all our integrated campaigns in the book, Earn Customers for Life.com. I'll put a banner up. I think I have one already. There it is. EarnCustomersForLife.com. It's all about getting these micro steps where the downside is far less than the potential upside. So they will do things they maybe don't fully believe in because there is an upside and there's not a downside. You would take that bet, right? You don't have to know how the game works. If somebody says, hey, look, you give me $1, there's an 80% chance you're going to win $100. Like, you play that game. It doesn't really matter because the downside is you lose $1. The upside is you win $100 and there's a high probability. So that's through our integrated campaigns. We're rigging the game to get people to take the step by showing them asymmetry in their favor, favorable asymmetry towards them, and that it teaches them to trust us even if they don't understand the other side. I don't have to understand how grapefruit juice works because I trust Nick, right? And so that is what we're always building in to our processes. It's just there's a level of empathy necessary, level of empathy in saying, what does this person value? They like the concept that this person should trust me just because I'm me is outlandish. That is like the most egotistical, ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And you just have to understand, Chris Voss says, it's one of my favorite quotes. Chris Voss says, even if you mean well, and you go to hug a kid that's been abused, the kid is still going to duck and run when you raise your arms up. And so it's our job as the person that wants to be useful and helpful to understand that we can't be mad at the kid because he's been abused somewhere. Like, we didn't abuse him, but we can't be mad that he's been abused. Our prospects are very, very similar. Our clients, our partners, is like somewhere along the line, they've been abused. They're carrying some baggage. And to not give them the opportunity, to not give them that asymmetry and risk at every single micro step, we're just kind of being egotistical a-holes and just saying like, well, here's my landing page. They should buy stuff. That's not true. You think way too highly of yourself and what you do if you're not willing to show people, hey, look, if you take this step, the downside is minimal, but there's this upside. I know it's a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but just take the step. It's not going to cost you anything. If you're not willing to do that and you think people should buy your stuff, you're in for a really, really, really rough business ownership, entrepreneur journey. You really are. So hopefully that's helpful. EarnCustomersForLife.com. That's the book. I think it's good. I'm biased. I wrote it kind of. I actually dictated it all, and then some, my team built all the checklists and stuff. But that's what it's all about. It's about taking these micro steps and understanding how to rig the game so that the asymmetry is the risk is far, far less than the reward. And you do that a few times, and people will just start trusting you. And then you make really easy high ticket sales, year-long commitments, partnerships, stuff like that. Cool. EarnCustomersForLife.com. That's the book. Coffee for Life. That's what I'm doing right now. Do it almost every day. If you're a book buyer, you get invited to all of them. If you're not a book buyer, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I go live, sometimes I don't. That's all I got. Looking for questions here. Oh, I got rid of my comment thing. All right. You guys have what day is it? Tuesday. You guys have a glorious Tuesday.